set aside the EPA rule.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The meeting will come to order. This is the regular meeting for the Land Use and Transportation Committee. I'm Supervisor Malia Cohen, chair of this committee, and to my right is Supervisor Scott Wiener, who is the vice chair, and to my left is Supervisor Jane Kim. Our clerk is Ms. Andrea Osbury, and I also would like to recognize Jonathan Shakas as well as Jennifer Lowe, who will be working with us, helping us by televising this committee meeting at SFGov TV. Madam Clerk, do you have any announcements for us?
Yes, please silence all electronic devices. Completed speaker cards and copies of any documents to be included as part of the file should be submitted to the clerk. Items acted upon today may appear on the July 7th Board of Supervisors agenda unless otherwise stated.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I'm sorry, could you please call item number 1?
Sure. Item number 1 is a resolution authorizing assessment ballots to be cast for city-owned parcels for proposed business improvement district, Dog Patch, in Northwest Potrero Hill, Green Benefit District.
Thank you very much. So, colleagues, this is a follow-up item to the resolution of intent from the city's first Green Benefit District in Dog Patch, as well as Northwest Potrero Hill, which was approved by this committee and the board a few weeks ago. As is standard with the formation of a community benefit district and business improvement district, this resolution allows the mayor to cast ballots for the city-owned parcels located in the assessment district's boundaries. Now, my office, along with DPW, has been working collaboratively with all the city departments who own the property in the GBD boundaries over the last few months, including the real estate, Rec and Park, MTA, whose board will be taking action separately next week, as well as DPW, all of which are supportive of our efforts to form this district. We have with us Mr. Jonathan Goldberg from DPW here to present some additional detail on this item. Good afternoon, Mr. Goldberg.
Good afternoon, Chair Cohen, Supervisors Wiener and Kim. My name is Jonathan Goldberg. I am the Green Benefit District Project Manager with Public Works. I'm here to present on a resolution authorizing the mayor to cast ballots in the affirmative for parcels under the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors in the City of San Francisco. There is one Department of Real Estate parcel, which is the former Southeast Police Station, 5 parcels under the jurisdiction of Public Works. They are leftover remnants of the public right-of-way, and one Rec and Park parcel, Esprit Park. On June 9th, 2015, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved the resolution of intention to form the city's first Green Benefit District. This process initiated the ballot mailing process. Ballots were sent out on June 12th. Of the 7 parcels under the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors, the adoption of this resolution will allow for the mayor to cast votes in the affirmative for the 7 city parcels within the Green Benefit District. And
Is that it?
That's it.
Perfect. I like it. Short and sweet and to the point. Thank you for your presentation. Let's go ahead and take public comment on this item. Okay. Seeing that there's no member of the public to comment on item 1, public comment will be closed. Colleagues, do you have any questions? Seeing no questions. Thank you. Supervisor Kim has made a motion to move forward with a positive recommendation, and that's been seconded by Supervisor Wiener. This motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please call item 2?
Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing assessment ballots to be cast for city-owned parcels for the proposed business improvement district, Yerba Buena Community Benefit District.
Thank you. Supervisor Kim is the author of this item, and I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you. I will just ditto everything you said for item number 1, except that this is for the Yerba Buena Community Benefit District, which has been around already, and its renewal. Very successful CBD that has done an amazing job of really improving and beautifying the neighborhood, but also building a neighborhood identity that involves building a coalition of our businesses, hotels, residential tenants and homeowners, as well as our small businesses.
Thank you. Is there a presentation? No? Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair Cohen, Supervisors Wiener and Kim. My name is Chris Corgus. I'm a project manager with the Office of Economic Workforce Development. I'm here today to present on a resolution authorizing the mayor to cast ballots in the affirmative on behalf of the city and county of San Francisco as an owner of 8 parcels of real property over which the Board of Supervisors has jurisdiction, where those parcels would be subject to the assessment in the proposed renewed and expanded property and business improvement district known as the Yerba Buena Community Benefit District. The Board of Supervisors on June 9, 2015 passed a resolution declaring the intention to renew and expand the Yerba Buena Community Benefit District and thereby initiating the balloting process. On June 12, 2015, the Department of Elections mailed out ballots to all property owners in the proposed renewed and expanded district, with 8 ballots being sent to the city and county of San Francisco. The city could vote on the parcels if the Board of Supervisors were to approve this resolution. A list of the parcels is attached. As you can see, the 8 parcels have a total assessment of $102,386.13 annually and represent 3.42% of the total weighted vote. If you have any questions, myself or my manager, Crizia Tano, can answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, seeing that there's no questions at this point, let's go ahead and take public comment on item 2. Public comment is open.
As what's his name? Can I get a little bit of some for my time? So I just want to show a little something here. I'm not here to impress, but to impress on the city and county of San Francisco, the city by the bay, that they claims they know how to do the thing. Listen, I'm really, how can you do it? I'm appalled.
Sir, please keep your comments to item 2.
I certainly will if you give me a chance. Okay, I have 2 minutes, and it's strictly there. It's just where I have a way of going around it. But if you want me to be direct, I will. I'm up here speaking on the CBDs and what's happening in the land use in the Fillmore, Supervisor Cohen, over there what we call the No Mo, where you need to be paying attention to what's happening there so you won't have to repeat on 3 Street what they done to the Fillmore Street, madam. My name is Ace, and I want the city and county to know that I'm on this case. And this case is what, Ace? Well, I'm getting ready to retire as an activist because I'm grown too old to come up here to speak 3 minutes and be disrespected, okay? Now, I'm up here speaking in a parallel on the issue that's coming up here with land use. CBD, the Western Addition, the Fillmore, we don't have no CBD. We don't have no leadership up there. We do not have anything but violations, corruptness, and all these other things. So I'm going to slow down because I'm not an activist. But I do respect and I appreciate respect because I've been in this city and county in this arena here more than anybody in this room and has been and plan to be here till the rest of my life. My name is Ace, and I'm on the case. And what I'm saying is, Pello, to open up your ears. Don't have no fear. All I'm just trying to tell you right now, and the city and county, speaking on the city and county, should be ashamed of themselves. We're celebrating all of this new, all the civil rights that's going on. But we, as African American, blacks, Negroes, are still in the back. So you can't attack what I'm up to say that.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on item 2? All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. Ms. Kim, is there a motion for this?
I'd like to move this forward with recommendation.
All right, a motion is made by Supervisor Kim, seconded by Supervisor Wiener, that motion being to move forward a positive recommendation. And with objection, that motion is sustained. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please call item number 3?
Item number 3 is a resolution authorizing assessment ballots to be cast for the city-owned parcels, proposed business district improvement district, the Greater Rincon Hill Community Benefit District.
Thank you. Supervisor Kim is also the the author of item 3.
Thank you. This is identical to items 1 and 2 as well. And on this item, we have Crizia Tano presenting. Oh, or not.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Supervisors Wiener, Supervisors Kim. My name is Chris Corgus. I'm a project manager of the Office of Economic and Workforce Development. I'm here today to present on a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designees to cast an assessment ballot in the affirmative on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco as the owner of one parcel of real property over which the Board of Supervisors has jurisdiction that would be subject to assessment in the proposed property and business improvement district to be named the Greater Rincon Hill Community Benefit District. The Board of Supervisors on June 9, 2015 passed a resolution declaring the intention to form the Greater Rincon Hill Community Benefit District and thereby initiating the balloting process. On June 12th, the Department of Elections mailed ballots to all property owners in the proposed district, with one ballot being sent to the City and County of San Francisco. The City could vote on the parcel if the Board of Supervisors were to approve this resolution. A list of the parcel is attached. As you can see, the one parcel has a total of assessment of $318.13, which represents 0.0131% of the total weight. If you have any questions on the ballots or the proposed resolution, I or my manager, Krizia Tano, are here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Kim, any last remarks? All right. Is there a let's take public comment on item 3. Public comment is open.
Thank God for public comment. I've been doing public comment for over 25 years and only had 2-3 minutes. Now it's broke down to 2 minutes. But I'm retiring from that platform. But I'm here talking about CBD. The parallel is you're going to be speaking on the Western Addition, what I call the Fillmore, coming up here. And I'm up here to testify. And I'm not lying. Because in July, I don't want to hear no more lies from the mayor's office all the way down to the janitor's office. We are in a state of emergency right here in San Francisco. Everybody thinks it's peaches and roses. But there's another story that must be told. Now, right now, all these CBDs are working all over the community. It started in the West. Everything starts in the Western Addition, the Fillmore. We call it the Fill No More. The rich history of this city starts in the Western Addition. It goes back to after the earthquake. It goes back to 18. So what I'm saying is, I'm showing a parallel. Why isn't there a CBD in the Fillmore? Why isn't there all of these luxuries that you have in the city? We don't have them in the Fillmore. But instead, we got the mayor election office, re-election office in the Fillmore, right in the heart, where he came at 3-4 years ago, and all the black businesses that he visited are closed right now. That's a fact. Did you know that? My name is Ace, and I'm on the case. Now, you think that I was all that in a bag of chips when I was an activist. I'm just feeling right now, you haven't seen me in a while, forgive me. This will be my last day coming down here talking like this. But I am so furious. I'm appalled of this next item that's coming up. And I'll be able to speak on it. I had to speak here because the minutes, seconds were there. Forgive me for feeling and speaking directly, but my name is Ace, and I'm the case. You know what? We're in a new era. I have no more time for errors.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that'd like to speak on this item? Seeing none, public comment is closed at this time. Is there a motion for this?
I'd like to move this forward with recommendation.
Thank you. Motion made by Supervisor Kim to move with a positive recommendation. Seeing no objection, this motion passes without objection. Madam Clerk, could you please call items number 4 and 5 together?
Yes. Item number 4 is an ordinance amending the planning and zoning map to establish a Fillmore Street Neighborhood Commercial Transit District. And item number 5 is an ordinance amending the planning code and zoning map to establish the Visadero Street Neighborhood Commercial Transit District.
Thank you. Supervisor Breed is the author of these 2 items, and I believe her aide, Connor Johnston, will be here, or is here, to make a presentation, and then we'll also hear from planning staff after Mr. Johnston's presentation.
Thank you, Supervisor. Connor Johnston, Legislative Aide to Board President Breed. The 2 pieces before you today are follow-up legislation to President Breed's recently passed Fillmore and Divisadero NCDs, Delta. Those NCDs were supported by the Planning Commission in June 2013. They passed this committee unanimously in October 2014. Then the BOS passed them unanimously, and they became effective in December. The Divisadero NCD runs 12 blocks along Divisadero from Haight at the south end to O'Farrell at the north. The Fillmore NCD runs 9 blocks along Fillmore from McAllister at the south end to Bush Street at the north. The NCDs allow denser, more varied commercial uses, encourage diverse modes of transit, invite more active and appealing architecture, and create a framework for the neighborhoods to tailor planning controls to their unique needs and atmosphere. They are an important part of the Divisadero and Fillmore communities' long-term plans to create vibrant neighborhood-serving corridors. All the legislation before you today does is remove the arbitrary parcel-based density controls. All of the other controls remain. And just to emphasize that point, I will quickly read the operative sentence in the legislation. There will be no residential density limit by lot area. Density will be restricted by physical envelope controls of height, bulk, setbacks, open space, exposure, required dwelling unit mix, and all other applicable controls of this and other codes, as well as by applicable design guidelines, applicable elements, and area plans of the general plan and design review by the planning department. Currently, Divisadero limits density to 1 dwelling unit per 800 square feet of lot area for regular housing and 1 bedroom per 275 square feet of lot area for group housing. Fillmore limits dwelling units to 1 unit per 600 square feet of lot area and 1 bedroom per 210 square feet of lot area for group housing. Those controls are a bit outdated. In 2007, the city started adopting zoning districts without parcel-specific density controls, including RTO districts and several new NCTs, the Soma NCT, Mission Street NCT, Ocean Avenue, and Glen Park NCTs. So this legislation gives people the option to build more units without changing the overall size or appearance of buildings or the visual character of the neighborhoods. Bear in mind, new construction of buildings with 5 or more units is still required to provide at least 40% 2 bedrooms or 30% 3 bedrooms. And an existing unit can only be divided if it exceeds 2,000 square feet or has more than 3 bedrooms, and at least one of the resulting units has at least 2 bedrooms and 1,250 square feet. So this is not going to cause an avalanche of micro units, far from it. The city doesn't have any more land, so we must accommodate more housing in the existing urban fabric without negatively impacting historic neighborhoods. Both Divisadero and Fillmore are major transit corridors and vibrant commercial corridors, so it is logical to provide more housing opportunities here. These ordinances are one small measure to address the housing affordability crisis and allow the Divisadero and Fillmore neighborhoods to incorporate a few more housing units so more people have the privilege to live there. I do want to thank, on behalf of President Breed, Tom Radulovich, the Executive Director of Livable City, for all of his help, and Aaron Starr from the Planning Department, who is here today as well, for all the work that he did on these ordinances. We have incorporated the Planning Department's recommended changes, including 2 clerical corrections, and with 1 minor exemption, the lot merger restriction for both NCTs. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions, colleagues? Supervisor? No? Okay.
Not for Connor, but
Please, we'll bring
after
Mr.
Aaron's
Starr.
presentation.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. Aaron Starr, Planning Department staff. The items before you are 2 separate ordinances that would rezone Fillmore Neighborhood Commercial District and the Divisadero Street Neighborhood Commercial District, 2 neighborhood commercial transit districts. The rezoning, as Mr. Johnson said, would mainly affect how density is calculated. Currently, Fillmore NCD has a ratio of 1 to 600, and Divisadero has a ratio of 1 unit per 800 square feet of lot area. These ordinances remove those restrictions, and density would be determined by the height, bulk, exposure, rear yard, open space requirements in the planning code. In addition, the Fillmore ordinance would rezone 1 property that's currently zoned RM4, 1 property that's currently zoned RM3, and 1 property that's currently zoned RH3 to Fillmore Street NCT. No other land use controls would be changed by these ordinances. The Planning Commission heard these 2 items on April 2nd of this year and voted unanimously to recommend approval with recommendations of both ordinances. The recommended modifications for the Fillmore ordinance were to include the rezoning of 2 parcels at the corner of Fillmore and Fulton Street that are currently zoned in C1. That was recommended to be changed to RTO, and add the lot merger restrictions for NCT districts per section 121.7. The recommended modifications for Divisadero Street was just to add the lot merger restrictions in section 121.7. Our understanding that Supervisor Breed has incorporated all the Planning Commission's recommended changes into the revised ordinance, and we thank Supervisor Breed for doing that. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Supervisor Kim?
Thank you. I just had a couple of questions. First, Only because some of this had been in effect for many years or many decades, I assume, prior. I was wondering historically what was kind of the thinking behind setting these minimums per dwelling units that were put into place?
It's a good question. I think it was a way to restrict density so that neighborhoods didn't become overcrowded. But what we find is that we've sort of piled on so many restrictions that density controls are a little irrelevant. You can only go up so high. You have to have a rear yard. Every unit needs open space. Every unit needs exposure. So that, in essence, controls it. So we're taking one sort of arbitrary restriction out of the mix.
And could you remind me if in the NCT there is a requirement of parking per dwelling unit?
No, there's not. But currently, both Fillmore and Divisadero Street do not have minimum parking requirements. That was
They do not have one?
No, that was
Okay.
done when they were created. The NCDs were created last year.
And then my final question is, well, I have two more. How many soft sites are there along these two corridors that are developable? Was there an estimate that Planning Department had done when studying these two corridors?
I believe we did. I don't have the exact number. These two corridors didn't have that many from my recollection, but I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't have the exact number.
No, I'm curious. I think that this is actually, I support this, and I'm glad that we're moving forward. I think it's good to have density on these two corridors. They tend to be more transit-rich and certainly could absorb that density. So I'm happy to see that President Breed is looking at these amendments. I was just curious, how many sites this would even potentially impact, because there is already a lot of development already built out on these two corridors.
Divisadero is actually really quite already built up, but I think the lots between Fillmore and Oak, there's large potential there, and we did get a proposal in for those lots. So,
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Weiner. Mr. Starr, Supervisor Weiner has a question for you.
Oh, no, I have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Starr.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Weiner.
No, I just want to thank President Breed for bringing forward this legislation and creating both new NCTs. In District 8, we did something similar, as noted, in Glen Park, but also in Upper Market, and it is it's long overdue. We know that one key aspect of meeting our city's dramatic and profound housing shortage is to make sure that we are putting housing on transit corridors. And so whether it's Glen Park or Upper Market or Divisadero or Fillmore, where we do have strong transit access, that's exactly where we need to be putting new housing. And having this, I think, somewhat outdated approach to maximum unit density, it makes sense to move beyond that. And so I'm very supportive of this legislation.
Thank you. Let's take public comment on this item. If there's any member of the public that'd like to comment on items 4 and 5, please come up and do so. You'll have 2 minutes.
This is kind of really cumbersome that I have to take time out of my busy schedule when I have a supervisor in my district. That's the president. The president. Well, I get this secondhand information and hear what you see and hear what's going on here. Usual business down here at City Hall, which I call Silly Hall. I'm appalled. But I would not say nothing bad directly about any of supervisors on here. But this is appalling. How in the hell do you think, whoever put this legislation together, that without community input, y'all sit up there and just say, oh, I think it's good in my community. Have you been to the Fillmore lately? Have you been down to the Addition? Have you been down there to Yoshi's? Have you been over there to Rosa Parks, where we have these violations of these contractors that don't give a damn about us? Total violations, but there is no mechanism going on. I go through the streets there, they look at me like I'm some kind of peon. But in my community, because there is no voice. Well, damn it, after the first, there is a voice. Washington Post, California, is a voice for today, but with vision for tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying I'm for or against this because I don't know nothing about it. And that is the problem. The community don't know nothing about it. I was there in the creation of the CBD, the CAD, and all of these things in the Fillmore. Y'all better wake up and listen. particularly people that's in my community that call themselves legislators. We need to have conversation about legislation, about all this pollution in my community. It's called community reform. That's how we can put some legislation together and find out what the community want. Y'all looking up at me like I'm crazy. But the people out there saying, you go ahead, brother, say what you're saying. Because politics ain't nothing but full of tricks. Makes you turn to a lunatic. I would say the rest of it, but it don't go good at City Hall. Oh, yes, it does here at City Hall. It gets so silly, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all because I've been up all in.
Any other members of the public that'd like to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, this item is, public comment is closed. Thank you. Staff, thank you for your presentation. Is there a motion that we can entertain? A motion made by...
Motion to move forward with recommendation on items 4 and 5.
All right, thank you so much. Motion made by Supervisor Kim. And without objection, this motion passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, is there any other items before us today?
There's no further business before the committee.
All right, there's no further business. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.